Welcome, everyone, to the Onward VR Master League Week 8, Season 8. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. And it's just you and me today. That's it. We are venturing deep into the depths of top-tier gameplay alone. And we're going to be seeing a very rare occurrence here. This is not a Button Cup matchup. I gotta make that clear. There are Button Cup matchups going on this week. We have one actually going on right now on Master League 1. But this is not a Button Cup matchup. This is a Master v Master challenge. I'm not sure who issued the challenge. Either way, it is a challenge, and it's something we don't see often at all. A NA versus EU Master battle just for the sake of MMR, not for that Button Cup prowess, although I'm sure this is sort of getting factored into a lot of teams' Button Cup estimates, if you will. Some people like to keep track of who's winning, where NA and EU is at. You can definitely factor this one in. It is an NA versus EU battle, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of gameplay we're going to be treated to today. Dive right into the pick bans because the lobby does look like it's full and should be starting shortly. Over on SMC Tactical side, we have a ban of Downfall 1, and on beginner side, we have a ban of Cargo. So the long range Downfall taken off the table, and Cargo short range taken off. So both teams countering the preference of each other. Beginners definitely more skilled on, are definitely very good on the long-range maps, able to patiently play those out. They have great shots, so it is a pretty solid ban against them. And I mean, to the credit of beginners, they ban Cargo because they know SMC is really good on these close-range maps, and SMC goes ahead and picks Tanker for map number 1, as you may have heard from the sloshing of the water out there. But yeah, it is going to be Tanker to kick things off in this NA versus EU battle. And if you told me I was going to be saying that 3 seasons ago, I wouldn't believe you. Tanker is such an underplayed map so long ago, and now to see it here being played in priority in Season 8 is really exciting. And the strategies that we see come out here are real interesting. So I'm curious to see what kind of aggression, what kind of patience we'll see from either one of these teams. This is quite literally a toss-up, people. I just don't know how this series is going to end up shaking out. I can tell you that it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a very good series, so buckle up. Get yourself a multi-stream, okay? Fire up Master League 1 and 2, and prepare yourselves for some very good action across the board. Both squads readied up. Over on SMC Tactical, we have Captain Soda, Trip Nip, Pwnecake, Landon, Jordan, Mr. Beefy. And over on beginners, we have Dr. Killinger, Smoils, Kev, Woods, 43, and Icy Woods. For a while there, beginners were a fraction. They had some disruption in their main roster, but I mean, this is the core beginners roster here that you're used to seeing, that you expect to see in the master tier. And we are underway. Round number 1 of map 1 begins now. SMC Tactical versus beginners.
Freshman on $2 Tuesday.
Like trip test.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, but not everyone.
Not so family-friendly conversation going on there as the SMC Tactical prepares to get real aggressive. They are charging down this main lane. They know the timing of the spawn points. They know they can get up here real fast. Landon and Soda on the opposite lane there in similar advanced positions. They have a bit of a farther back L that they can push themselves into. As a nade does come around the corner, I think it's going to get blocked by that wall. Also wasn't far enough.
I got you.
You can hear there a little bit of baiting in the comms. Pwnecake and Trip trying to work together to see if they can force a beginner to inch his way out here. Kev and Woods thoroughly smoked out along this lane. A nice nade comes down right in front of Trip. He tucks in around the wall. He's safe enough. And again, you can hear the comms. They're trying to bait out any sort of aggressive push to finish off what would seem like a downed person. And here comes another smoke. And they are really keeping these guys in the dark. Kev's going to grab that, redirect it, and that actually might help him less because that smoke was pretty poorly tossed. Killinger denies beefy entry. Ponecake here looking for the frag across this white carton. Can't quite get it. Killinger looks up over the top. Kev's completely smoked out of objective. Trip and the 3 here, Landon and Soda could be crashing in from the center, but Woods, 43, putting up a good fight, goes down to Landon and Soda combo fire. Ponecake's going to reinforce Trip on the other side, and they are really trying to push in hard here. Still one defender from Beginners maintaining their back defense. Icy Woods, he's super far away. It might be time for him to rotate around as Killinger manages to grab another. Calm between the storm. Kev finds Landon's head as he tries to charge forward towards objective. And this is such a dangerous position that Beginners are able to take. It's such an effective position where they can peek up over these cartons, just barely expose their head, turn their gun sideways, and take shots. But Ponecake able to grab one as he downs Smoils on the backside. Killinger getting aggressive, trying to cross there and toss a nade. As Ponecake drops back, and we're into a 2v3. Surprisingly, Woods still not rotated back as he does. As I do say that he does rotate, and Soda might catch those footsteps. Does get one. Does he hear Woods on his right? He does. Here comes Ponecake to reinforce around the other side, and nade in Woods' hand. Down he goes. The Martyrdom comes out. It's not going to be cooked long enough, and it's going to instantly down him. Beginners on the back foot now as Soda and Ponecake try to infiltrate Kev, who's managed to tuck himself behind the white crate, and he's in a very effective position to defend. The double team comes into effect. Soda goes down. Kev doesn't have enough ammo for the last one, and Soda, with the pressure applied, takes round 1 for SMC Tactical. What an all-out battle for this bottom objective. Both teams not giving an inch. I need a breather. Oof, that was fast. That was non-stop pressure from SMC Tactical right there. My breather's over, and your breather's over. Round number 2 underway. On board Mr. Beefy here. Looks like he'll be taking up just an opposite entry point. He's actually taking the flank. We're seeing a bit of similar aggression from Beginners. Killinger getting quickly up here, takes some shots at Ponecake with the shield. Is denied the kill. But look at this. Kev is now sandwiched between 2 enemies. Ponecake doesn't even realize Kev here, but is behind him on these stairs. And in contrast to SMC Tactical taking the downstairs, Beginners have rushed upstairs actually and are playing this very quickly. Kevin Woods almost able to catch Ponecake if they were lucky. An unfortunate crossfire there as well as Ponecake peeks out. Can he find another? No, he can't. And Woods actually confirms. Oh, man, the worst case of scenarios here. Oh, and a trade between Landon and Kev. Beginners applying the pressure early. Can they continue to apply it now as they do find themselves in a bit of an awkward position? Trip quickly reinforcing this lane with the LMG fires going to continue to apply pressure onto Woods. Woods wants to get up here and get Kev before this nade comes out and confirms him.
Did you get that guy down? That got down by a grenade? No? Couldn't tell.
Trip is going to peek again. Woods super exposed here behind the crates, and Trip's trying to lay down the fire. Can't penetrate that crate. Woods safe and tucked in behind there. of a trade on the other lane here. Soda trying to deal with the shield. Killinger is going to apply pressure as the nade comes out, and he knifes him down. Does he turn around for the nade in time? He does. Here goes the other side. Icy Woods trying to apply pressure, and Beginners are mounting their comeback. 3 alive for this squad. They still have Woods upstairs, Smoils upstairs. And a little over-aggression from the defense of SMC Tactical puts them into a even battle once again. Bit of a breather here. 3:40 on the clock. Great pacing from both teams. Well aware of the spawn point and how far the enemy team is able to get before they can spot anyone. You saw Beginners instantly here on these stairs. SMC Tactical were instantly up into that middle lane. Differing strategies, and we'll see which one pays off, or if they both do, as Mr. Beefy might find himself a pick soon. We had a trade there. Yes, Icy Woods does go down, and an insta-kill for insta-kill, so keeping things tied up into a 2v2 now.
I'm going back and checking the south funnel.
Dillinger and Smoils likely to reconvene and try and make this push happen together. Uh-oh, a miscommunication here coming out as well. Smoils concerned that there's an enemy back by spawn, but it is in fact just Killinger rotating. Might eat up just a touch of time, but they have plenty of it. 2:30 left on the clock to work with.
If you're already called out. I got sure one dead on top of the south funnel. I can push the Zik. Yeah, Alpha 1-0.
Take a look at SMC Tactical's defensive setup. Trip watching their flank, but it is an interesting position to take because I think Pwnecake may have been able to be shot here, but no one's coming in from the backside, so Pwnecake's very likely going to have to deal with a shield and a rifle down this middle lane. And any utility that they have left. Pwnecake spots the shield. Definitely spotted by Killinger, and a nice nade toss. Perfectly tossed right to where Pwnecake was just defending from. Pwnecake managing to tuck around the crates, and they does spot Killinger again with the shield. It's a risky spot for Trip, and he peeks just at the right time. Right as Killinger was dropping down to take a shot, he heard the shield clink on the ground and pushed out. Now Trip in a bit of an exposed position from Smoils, but Will Smoils expecting here in the corner. Trip refires around, can't quite land the shot. Smoils now caught between two enemies, and SMC Tactical sandwich the remaining beginner and take round number 2, pushing their lead up 2-0. They have not been easy rounds for SMC Tactical. I think that's important to point out, but they have been rounds to SMC Tactical, and they are now in the lead. And like I said, I did not know what to expect coming into this. I do anticipate beginners to start to put up a pretty, I mean, they're already putting up a very good fight right now. I do anticipate them to really lock it in these next few rounds. I think we're gonna go back into a 2-2, and then I'm not sure what's gonna happen. If SMC Tactical can take this Marsoc round, I will be surprised, because that'll be 3 unanswered rounds from beginners, and I just don't. That is not what I'd be expecting today in this matchup. No more hypothesizing from yours truly up here. We're going to go down into round number 3. Beginners on the back foot. Definitely have some work to do here. But I do anticipate them to be ready to put it in. Some interesting aggression here from beginners. Smoils and Kev pushing forward. I don't think I've seen this position taken up from a Volk on this objective. We'll see if SMC Tactical are ready for some upstairs defenders. Interesting. Pwnecake thinks he has tagged one. Always important to remember how hard it is to really see in these maps, especially with night vision. He does actually grab one there. A nice shot down the lane. Kev goes down to headshots from Trip, and it's not a good start for beginners right now. SMC Tactical. Exactly how they want to kick this off. Smoil's really going to be an important defensive defender here. He gets over-aggressive, charges into the crate, and misjudges the audio. Soda was outside, manages to deny him any sort of kill. And beginners now into a 5v2. Trip going down to some team fire. He'll be quickly rezzed. Woods pushing up, getting aggressive, and Killinger finds one. Soda with the refrag. Now Killinger going to peek back outside. Can't quite grab the unanswered Captain Soda, and you hear the disappointment in that trade. Trade's always frustrating, but SMC still had a few more alive, and they come out ahead for an incredibly fast Marsoc round 3. This is looking like a 4-0 map 1 on Tanker for SMC Tactical, if I had to say so, just by judging what we've seen so far. Beginners definitely with the capacity to answer back here. They've been doing pretty good on Marsoc rounds, keeping it very close throughout the majority of this series, so I do anticipate them to put up a good effort here. But momentum is a big thing that we talk about in this game, and when it comes to the Master Tier series, momentum means a lot, because you can only be so good at your shot. You can only be so good with your communication. To have that sort of momentum, have that confidence, it really does make you a significantly better player, in my opinion, at the very least. And we'll see if that confidence is able to swing SMC Tactical into a map number 1. Important reminder that this is their map pick. And if you are just tuning in, the bans were Downfall 1 from SMC Tactical and Cargo from Beginners. So we are relegated to the short to mid-range maps. SMC taking advantage of that, popping into Tanker here, as you can see, for map number 1. I'm curious to see where we go for number 2. I would guess Quarantine. Maybe Beginner's surprise pick with the Subway. Maybe they've been pocket picking some strats there. Unsure. I really don't know. So I would say Downfall 1 is a great way to step back from this Tanker map, but watching back the camera work, it is so hard to work through these work through some of these alleyways. So I do apologize if I bump into things.
Soda, you're gonna be inside, right?
Soda, where you at? Here, Soda.
Just put it. If you put it at the top of the stairs, there, just put it on the stairs.
Right here.
Yeah,
I
set it
got
like
it.
right
I
here.
got it. I'm coming to you, BB.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. No, you're gonna shoot it if you hear him and it blocks the stairs.
Whoa. All right.
All right, give me calls.
We have new strats being broken out by SMC. I love the innovation here. They've lit the Molotov. It is prepped. As soon as it's shot, it explodes. Will detonate the fire trap. What an interesting way to help defend that downstairs. In the meantime, Pwnecake has found himself a little bit of action up top, and he slowed down the beginner's front push up these stairs. Killinger is downstairs checking that long lane. He won't find anybody there. is likely that he'll be making the flank approach. And I do anticipate the beginners to take this one at a nice and steady pace. They're going to let Killinger and Smoils get all the way to the backside. Meanwhile, Woods, Kev, and Icy Woods are going to slowly inch their way up to this front side, making sure not to go down, making sure to maintain their 5-man composure. And then at the same time, I do anticipate them to kind of crash on the objective. At the very least, that's what it seems like they are prepping for. And we'll see how effective it will be. We'll see if SMC can defend.
One of the windows directly in front of me. That was good. Hey, boy.
Yeah, except he went left.
Doing some work. Good at this point because we got that covered pretty much the right side here. Uh-oh. Yeah, you too. I am down. I think they bought it. Or shenanigans will get us killed. We'll see.
Interesting to note, if you are new to the game or curious what these strats they're doing right now, Kev and SMC Tactical, Pwnecake, and Beefy using these windows to peek basically unpunished. You can look through this glass; it is impenetrable. You can get information on where people are coming through up the center, basically without any sort of punishment. So, Kev using glass in his building to check through, and Beefy and Pwnecake using theirs. Landon, the only one really risking himself by taking those shots as he peeks around the corner there. He's exposing himself to Killinger and Kev, who are looking for some shots as well. A nice nade does come in. Fantastic burst right onto the top of Landon. Somehow it doesn't insta-kill him. Very fortunate for SMC Tactical. They will be able to come pick him up as they... I stand corrected. Killinger able to take the shots underneath.
Hi!
With them watching us here through the windows.
Beefy taking shots through the wood crate there. I don't know if that was recently made impenetrable. I was always on the impression that those boxes were penetrable, but it seems like they are not. Especially in this round, these guys have been pretty dang safe. Smoils, in the meantime, is sprinting downstairs, and I think Pwnecake is on to the audio queue. But I do anticipate him to be radioing into these back defenders that there's some sort of mischief about. Icy Woods able to grab Beefy not before he can get one of his own. Long range shots coming in as well over in the direction of Icy Woods. He'll be able to get a res off. And Smoil's actually going to drop back from the flank. It's going to help reinforce this front side. Maybe beginners feeling good after grabbing 2. They'd rather have 4 strong upstairs. Make that 3. Pwnecake able to catch out Kev.
One right side.
Trip and Icy Woods playing patty cake on the left side of the objective. Meanwhile, Smoils pushing up, applying pressure onto Pwnecake. Here comes the push in from beginners. Trade between Trip and Smoils. Killinger coming in. They've managed to grab all but one of SMC Tactical. It's all up to Soda, who is crashing in onto objective. Doesn't see Killinger punching in the code on the other side of the wall, and he's going to give beginners a 2-point run back here. Soda not able to catch out the Killinger as they sneak a cap. I wasn't sure what the time was left there, but yikes, the beginners comeback is underway, and that's the way to start it off. Now they go into the Volk round where they can defend. They just got to grab this defensive round. They do have the challenge of trying to take the series on a Marsoc round if they can muster up consecutive wins, but the comeback's coming, people.
One dead right side. One is containers. One more dead.
Go my side.
Oh my.
Smokes in the south coming from the gas station.
two more in crate then. Anyway, what's the time? 3 minutes 20. What is happening in the north? Yeah, we need to...
I did forget my voice. Oh, I'm back. And that's a great nade from Killinger. A fantastic toss into the second story. Instantly downs him. Here comes the push from Beginners. The nades and smokes are out. They found their instant pick into the top story. Smoils shots down into the rubble. Minute left on the clock, and Beginners are charging in. They are 3 up onto the nose. Woods is going to charge up over here. Trip goes down without a fight. No trade there. They've gained control of burning rubble. Next up is to cross the street. SMC gonna have to rotate and shift around to this objective in order to defend as Woods grabs themselves with another. Beginners looking incredibly good on this map. They've timed it just right, and Woods is here on the wall punching in the code. Landon not able to answer with a good toss. He's trying to get here onto the other side. Can he get it in time? No, he can't, but he goes down, and Beginners grab themselves with a round 1. Whew. That was a bit more Beginners-esque. They took their time, they got into position, and then they converged and attacked in a very effective manner. Oh, I'll see it there. What a great way to answer back on their map of choice after losing 4-2 on Tanker. Oh, man. I had some great commentary in there too, while I was muted. Wow, though, what a great series. What a way to kick it off. 4-2 to Tanker. from SMC Tactical. They're opting in for those close quarter maps. If I was going to say what we're going to go for map number 3, I'd think Bazaar or Suburbia. Those two still on the table. Downfall was banned by SMC and Cargo was banned by Beginners. SMC took map 1 and was their map choice. But Beginners are not a team to take one lying down, so losing that first map 4-2, they come into quarantine and right away grab the Marsoc round in their map pick. It's the perfect way to kick off the comeback and grab this second map. We'll see what they can do now on Volk and what sort of strat the SMC are going to break out as they do get a different spawn, that center spawn there. Similar setup here, but SMC giving away their position early, opting in to smoke the street out, hand walk these smokes across. Really surprised they're not receiving any fire here. And there is some shots coming in. Soda does go down. He's resable. Ponecake stops moving. Trip goes a bit too far, and that's actually the perfect screen. Really nicely positioned smokes, and they are going to be able to move across. Ponecake's going to run out of smoke soon. I think he deployed another one, so he's out of utility. But all three are going to be able to make it across safe and sound.
I don't see anybody. Clear. Go wide. Go dunes. Or I'll go dunes. You got it? Yep. All right. I'll proceed.
Okay, I have to stop typing in chat. I can only focus on so many things. We almost missed action on the stream, people. We can't have that happen. You can miss my voice, but you can't miss the good stuff. Ponecake and the three-man squad are able to cross south, hand-holding smokes. Did have to use one res, but other than that,
West side, time courtyard.
nothing really punished for SMC Tactical. They do have two in this middle courtyard. Beefy has proned his way up, same with Landon. Although they do know Landon's there, so he's susceptible to some incoming defensive grenades if Killinger or Woods decide to toss them. Do wonder if they're aware of Beefy. Is anybody watching this lane? No, not really. Beefy actually has the potential to completely flank Woods and Killinger here. See that south flank is slowly happening. Ponecake there, the one that might run into some action first onto Woods 43, although Woods is staying tucked in, and it's going to take Ponecake a bit of a rotation to really spot him out.
Yeah, just wait a bit. I'm scouting the second story of burning right now.
Icy Woods does catch Landon. That may make him feel a little bit too safe. Ponecake does manage to cross the street. Shots are coming into his side. He now does have an angle into the crack and does catch out Woods 43. That's going to open up the entry for Captain Soto to come around the corner and sort of safely apply pressure. In the meanwhile, Beefy has gotten into a crouch, slowly inching his way here. Does have the backside of Woods. Killinger, surprised by those shots, wheels and deals into the second story and catches Beefy. Downs him instantly. He will be resable, so information is able to be radioed in from him, and the rest of the SMC Tactical team should begin their push. Aggressive fire coming from the center as Soda here in a position to push from around the corner. Just to confirm from Mr. Killinger there, as he did tag Beefy earlier, Beefy radioing in lots of information onto his location, so Killinger now may be concerned about just what the enemy knows.
I'm west of Santa Vernon. I can voice them towards gas station.
That's actually a really nice nade toss. We've got anyone out on the other side. Ponecake Trip making their way up. They're trying to cross this side of the objective. They want to take control of gas station and make their way in. Are they going to be ready for Kev positioned here on the car? Like Soda is a bit weary about peeking this corner here. And I think Kev should be able to see those shadows. Uh-oh. Missed shots. The quick corner peek from Soda pays off. Now knows he has to smoke this if he wants to make it around, and that smoke doesn't go the direction he wants it to. Phone Cake with a huge pickup onto Killinger, now starts taking shots. From Kev, his trip catches him out on the push. Smoils downs Pone Cake, but SMC, with kills of their own, take their Marsoc round and keep things tied up 1-1. Yeah, it's a little easier to kind of fall into a lull when you are the lone caster, so I just gotta watch out for that. I apologize if chat interaction goes down. I guess run wild. I don't know. Throw down a lot of clutch emotes, okay? Sub to the channel. I think you can sub to Master League too, can't you? Go sub to Master League, okay? And if you don't know, there's also action going on over there. There's a button cup matchup happening right now. Granted, I can't blame you if you want to stay here. SMC looking pretty good. They did take map 1 against beginners. It is ranked number 4 in the world versus ranked number 1 in the world, so you don't often get to see these kind of top-tier matchups like this. And, I mean, SMC have got to be feeling so focused right now because so much matters here. The MMR difference is the biggest that they'll be able to find at their rank. And so for them to be able to take this series means quite a lot in their overall world ranking. I think they'd be able to come up to 3, potentially compete for that second place spot with Globochem worldwide. So there is a lot for SMC to take away from this challenge. And I'm sure beginners equally feeling the pressure here after losing map number 1 4-2, although they did manage to get a cap that does kind of help, you know, reinforce that they can compete, but they're going to have to keep battling it out here, now taking another Marsoc round of their own if they want to grab the lead on their map of choice as we hop into round number 3 of map 2.
Are you going burning? Peek it that way, and then if you have to rotate, you go behind the building and come back. Yep.
And look at this, a bit of a quick spawn in the beginner's favor. We'll see how they play this out. They are able to quickly peek up onto this berm, spot out any rotating SMC tactical trying to get into that rubble in the middle there. And some early shots from Killinger. Super risky to give away your spawn like that early, but he did think he could potentially catch one, and oftentimes that pick is worthwhile. But now SMC should be wiser onto this north spawn. You can see, look at your mini-map. All eyes are north. Really nice toss nade. You can almost see the formation of beginners of where that most players expect there to be people crawling up across that wall. Woods taking that long outside route and Kev staying back just to be sure that no nades do catch them. And you see a lot of fire from Beefy here, trying to hold down beginners.
I'm gonna try breaking it.
Not a long enough toss for that nade to quite go where it had to. I'd say beginners are in a bit of a bind, though. Landon's trying to get up into a forward position where he can apply some pressure. He's got this hill he can work with. He'll be able to deny entry onto this west side, but curious to see what the rest of beginners' plan is. They took their time. They got into position last round. and converged very effectively on all angles of the objective. If I had to guess, I'd say we're going to see something pretty dang similar. The flanking team, the flanking duo from beginners, Smoils and Kev, going to go for that long route. As I was saying when I was muted, this is a very VR-specific strategy because your vision oftentimes can only go so far in virtual reality. To be able to take this long-distance cross here, sometimes it's pretty hard to spot an opponent crossing from such a long distance. You may just think it's a pixel change in color or something like that. And I think this is probably one of the longest lanes. I mean, next to anything on Downfall, I suppose. If you go up onto that hilltop, you're looking at some real long-range shots. But amongst all those shadows, it is very hard to ID people, and additionally, at that longer range, it's pretty hard to land those shots. So, good strat there from beginners. Does get them safely across with no utility cost. Now we kind of take stock at the rest of beginners. Woods down into a position where he is very fraggable. Killinger able to catch Landon on a rotation as Woods puts out some suppressive fire, so that's going to open up that west side. I think maybe Landon was getting a little bit over-aggressive trying to push up, and Killinger able to catch him out from this hill.
Fire 2, 1.
That's a good start for beginners. Take a look at the overhead. You can see still positioning here. They're trying to get that one on the south into a spot where he can maybe even backdoor objective. They can really draw the attention of all 4 SMC out to this north side. There is a potential cap opportunity in store for beginners. We'll see what they do. Smokes are out. The pad check from Punkcake costs him his life. Now burning is into the control of beginners, and that's the last thing you want if you're defending this objective here. It's the last thing you want if you're ever defending. I mean, any objective on this side is tough once you've lost burning, so. Lots of shots surrounding Beefy. Trip also catching some suppressive fire as Woods 43 begins a bit of a push. Will Trip catch this out? I'm not sure. He just checks behind him. Doesn't spot out Woods 43 peeking the other side. Decent blending in there as Beefy catches the refrag. Now they should know that Beefy's there on the corner. We'll see how Killinger reacts. Beefy catches one. Can't get... Does get the second, actually, and that's going to be 2 down. Apologies for shifting to the wrong side. Looks like some suppressive fire was going on the other side of the map. And beginners brought down to 2. 28 seconds left. Soda catches out Smoils. Can they get the res and push in time? Kev's going to pick up Killinger, makes it into 2, and they have to non-stop sprint. They can't afford to grab the third. 15 seconds left on the clock. All Soda has to do at this point is stay tucked in, or does he? Can beginners come in and punch in the code? Killinger's going to round the corner, catches out Soda. No code gets entered, but the round goes into the hands of beginners with all but 6 seconds left on the clock. Thank you guys so much for, oh, wrong score, for tuning in today. If you haven't already, I recommend firing up a multi-stream and watching both matches going on Master League 1 and 2. Although, let's be honest, this is quite the barn burner. Beginners mounting their comeback here. Although it has been Marsoc for Marsoc round all the way through on quarantine. We'll see if SMC can answer back and grab one of their own. I'm mad I missed that double kill, though. got pulled to a different gun. And I didn't save the cam. Inside info with NightFiree. I bet you guys want to see the action, huh? Don't want to show it. Just kidding. Round number 4 begins. Beginners on the defense and mounting their comeback. Can they keep a bit of a win streak alive here and grab a twofer? Does look like a mirrored spawn for SMC. Let's see what sort of a pressure they apply. This kind of spawn. And this is that angle that was naded from beginners. Beefy would have gone down there if he was making this push last round. Oh, excuse me, that was naded by SMC. So it's interesting to see SMC taking a route that they defend against. And Beefy actually getting into a very nice position early with 5 minutes on the clock. He's already almost up to the plain nose. The rest of his team not exactly in a position quite yet, although they do have some identification of where the enemies are. They know one's at least up in that 2-story. Icy Woods here in the rubble. He's going to toss a nade. I think he heard the footsteps from Beefy. Not exactly where those footsteps were coming from, though. Beefy now, as long as he stays quiet, may be able to find the back of beginners, although they have taken up positions that do have some decent wall defense from that immediate peeking angle. So he's really going to have to expose himself if he wants to challenge rubble. Meanwhile, the rest of SMC has one up on the roof, one still on the backside, although he is rotating around, and one approaching, actually none approaching from the west, completely empty west lane there. Homecake able to grab one. Does look like he's getting actively flanked by, can't see who that is, Icy Woods 43, I believe. Down he goes. Lots of shots. Beefy finding one as well. Landon able to grab Icy Woods, and the middle rubble has been downed by SMC. A costly flank from Woods 43 does force him to rotate back to this rubble position. But it's a little bit too late. It's already been lost. Landon has taken control. SMC is pushing in. Landon shots out towards Woods 43, wins the trade. And now SMC applying the pressure all down to Smoils, tucked back in this back corner, as he is now the last one alive into this 1v3 against SMC. He may be looking for this res as well against, up on Woods 43. This is definitely the proper defensive position for Smoils. All he has to do is make sure nobody crosses that street. And at this angle, he will be catching out any SMC tactical that does try to cross. The right move for SMC with 2:30 left is to do that long rotation. I just don't know if they have time. Trip does not get across. Smoils catches him out, rotates into a different position. Landon doesn't identify that cross, and now Soda and Landon into a 1v2. Smoils still maybe looking for the opportunity to res Woods 43. If he does, he may get caught out on this huge open rotation. One goes down. Soda lands the shots, fortunately enough for SMC Tactical, and in that 1v1, they take the tie, bringing things back 2-2 on Quarantine. Twos across the board. Take a quick look at chat. Nothing too crazy going on in there. You know, I just didn't feel like we saw this strategy coming out from beginners on cargo. I think maybe they were trying to, I don't want to say install false confidence in SMC, because that's not what it was, but they were trying something different. Maybe trying to get into SMC's head that beginners were playing different strategies than their typical converge on objective in the right time. Because I just felt like I didn't really see that on Tanker. They did push objective very nicely to get that one cap, and that's where I felt like beginners were starting to come alive. But here on Quarantine, it's definitely been the case. They have been playing it very smart on Martok, taking rounds, almost winning an early advantage there. Trip and Landon are fortunate enough to make it across, but Killinger catches out Landon trying to get himself into position. They are ready and waiting for SMC on this rotation.
They didn't cross. Smith, where are you?
Woods 43 got down. I'm not sure when that happened, but he was trying to cross. He is resable. Doesn't look like they're investing anyone to go pick him up, though. Smoils, Woods, opposite side of the map. Wondering if Woods 43 is radioing this in. Hearing any comms there. Trip peeking in the corner, seeing if he can bait out any shots. The rest of SMC pretty tucked into their defensive positions. Mr. Beefy maybe one to find the action soon. Well, soonest. You can see here beginners still trying to get into position. I think they're going to send one all the way around this long side here to get the res onto Woods 43. Once they scoot, once Smoils picks him up, they'll drop back, make their long rotation.
Oh, I see.
Yo, yo,
Somebody's
yo.
shooting at me. Can I go phone? I don't.
So that's Woods and Smoils Reds, the flanking squad. Now they will be making their way
We gotta go. Yeah, but
along that long flank. In the meanwhile, Killinger does finally catch Trip peeking. The constant rotation around to that corner. He's trying to find any sort of angle out onto Killinger. Killinger with the patience there does catch him out, but it does look like Trip is going to be resable. I wonder if he'll be radioing in this information that he is seeing. He should be seeing Killinger on this rotation. In the meanwhile, Kev has been putting up quite the loud display of gunfire on the other side of the map. I think he realizes his entire team is over there on that east side, and he is starting to rotate, although I do think having him over there drawing the eye of SMC is a wise choice. Beefy here watching this lane has missed a few cross, so those long distance rotations do pay off for beginners, and slowly getting into position, taking control of the south as they already have downed the one there that was defending this backside, and coming in this objective from the south side is super effective. So we'll see how Pwnecake and Soda are going to be able to deal with this. If they lose that hilltop, Pwncake's going to be dead instantly. Soda may have a fighting chance with this wall for cover.
Guy down on the objective.
Huge pickup there. Kick things off for the beginners team. 5 alive to 2 remaining for SMC. Cap may not be in the cards, as they do have one right on top of objective, but at the very least, looks like the round should be going into their favor, unless SMC can really mount some sort of miraculous comeback. Mr. Beefy is able to catch one out with a nade, and another with some gunfire. Can he find himself a third? Killinger is over there, able to be shot. The push coming in from Smoils gets denied by Soda. SMC are holding on to this defense. 50 seconds left. Beefy catching shots from both sides. Woods 43 is able to catch him out. But can they get Soda? Soda now may have his back exposed. Will he be ready for Killinger, who is pushing in from this side? 40 seconds left. Now he's going to be charging in from Ambulance. And the pinch is going to come in. Soda completely exposed, goes down, and beginners continue the Marsoc trend and take the lead 3-2. Yeah, we talked a lot about that at the pre-show. I think I talked about it between rounds while I was muted, so it is something worth bringing up. Radar mentioning that this is a challenge and not a button cup match. It is indeed a challenge. We did look at the MMR disparities, and I dove deep into the real hypotheticals. And I guess we can look at that again, because this is an interesting scenario here. SMC Tactical in the NA division don't have a lot of opportunities to challenge above their MMR. Danglers and Global Chem are the only two teams that they can challenge within their division in order to gain MMR. The only other squad that is above them worldwide is Beginners, and it's quite a big MMR disparity. Some may argue that because Beginners are on the EU and they can win their matchups in that league, that they are able to gain more MMR. And so I think it's kind of an interesting challenge from SMC to try and challenge Beginners, who is the #1 team ranked worldwide, because, I mean, this is the biggest gap they'll be able to find in MMR. This is the best chance for them to push up over Danglers in the worldwide ranking and the NA ranks, because this is a challenge map. The MMR counts, as do button cups. Those MMR counts as well. But if you really want to put on your thinking caps, dive into the analysis of it all, I think there may be some big brain thinking going on between both teams on this challenge. I'm unsure really why beginners would risk accepting this. Maybe they're feeling confident in their skill set that they can take on SMC. But SMC did manage to grab map number 1. They're putting up a fight here on map number 2, although beginners are in the lead now. We'll see if they can hold on to it and grab this defensive round and take this map number 2. For what it's worth in that discussion, MMR, SMC is 1270 and beginners are 1310. Danglers are 1280 and Globo is 1300, so it is the biggest MMR gap that they're able to find. So definitely a big opportunity for SMC here as we get into round 6. We've already had some nades tossed. Tripp in a bit of an exchange here with this defender in the courtyard, and I don't think he knows that he is identified. Shots come in from Icy Woods. They don't quite land. Tripp is safe. Ponecake catches Icy Woods out, and in the meanwhile, Beefy is applying pressure on the south. Can he find this pick? If he does, it's going to open up a huge opportunity for this SMC tactical offense to push this objective. Just like we saw beginners utilizing this south berm. Interesting position from Killinger. I don't think I've seen this rock position taken up before, and I wonder if Beefy's aware.
Do we have anyone else watching this cross? Yeah, don't pick too much. That came from is just high.
Distractory smoke. Distractinary smoke there from Mr. Beefy. Killinger isn't quite peeking up over the rock. He's really just kind of waiting for that exposed angle to come out from Beefy. I wonder if Beefy will be able to ID the head of Killinger here. He's slowly inching his way over. Neither one sees each other. Beefy is going to be exposing himself out into the angle that Killinger is covering. In the trade, both go down on the south, so no south flank is going to be coming in. Although in the meantime, the rest of SMC is taking control of the map. Landon in gas, 2 in burning, 1 in almost in courtyard. And they're going to be applying pressure on this objective. Woods able to redirect that one smoke. Keeps his vision clear. He'll be peeking up over that ledge. Another smoke coming in, trying to deny him vision. A nice nade toss comes in, flashing Ponecake in the middle of the street. He goes down to the peeking from Woods 43. The captain tries to grab the refrag, but can't. And the rotation from beginners comes in. Smoils now reinforcing Woods 43 on objective. SMC into a 3v1 as they grab Smoils, getting over aggressive around the ambulance. The redirect of the smoke just to ensure that they have vision, as Woods 43 might get a little antsy on this peak. Landon is looking down this lane, and instead Tripp catches him from the back through a nice hole in the wall, and SMC tie things up 3-3. Wow. You know, your SMC, this is a huge round. In most aspects of the game, people consider Volk to have the advantage. What we've seen here is all Marsoc round wins. Reminder before I say what I'm going to say. But now map point for SMC, series point for SMC, and they are able to go on the defensive. They do have a rather tough objective to defend. Since there is only a few remaining ones left. And so they are going to be caught out with a rather capable objective. But I think with proper defense, I don't know. This is quite... Yeah, this is going to be the a pressure-filled map. A pressure-filled round. For sure. A lot on the line. Beginners need this if they want to take it to the best of 3. Granted, they're going to be going into SMC's map choice. where they've lost 4-2 to Tanker against their map choice. Now they are tied on beginner's map choice. So it's just the odds are looking in SMC's favor if I'm a betting man. Even the momentum not necessarily swung into the favor of beginners just yet. But we'll see what they're able to break out in this final round. As Ben Pierre Marsoc trades, I do anticipate beginners to put on another impressive Marsoc push. And it's going to take a lot from SMC to defend this objective. I think beginners may have the advantage here as we get into round 7 of map 2.
Crater spawn, moving south. One moving south.
That is big early information. We'll see just how SMC Tactical utilizes this and if they can grab themselves with some advantageous picks.
1 minute to money trucks.
Icy Woods catches out Captain Soda. Maybe Soda getting a little aggressive there on that wall peak. Woods 43 did make it to Money Truck there. Safe and sound on the other side. He'll run into Landon, who catches him out. I gotta take a voice break. Focus on the cams, everybody. Now focus on the cams.
Running rings. I'm working my side on that side of the ring.
Yes. 3 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah, no, I went. It's fine. I'm not checking that anymore, though. 3 minutes.
West ventilation shit.
I think my voice is alright for the remainder of this round. 2 minutes on the clock. Beginners into a 2v4. Smoil's trying to find maybe a pick just to get them back into things, but it's not looking good for SMC. Killinger does have all of the north to rotate around. He doesn't know that, though. He thinks he's still being pressured there by defensive positioning on that side. He's got to start moving, though. 1:30 on the clock. Here come the moves. Pone Cake catches Smoils. Shots coming in over in his direction from the rooftop as well. And now they know where Killinger is. Beefy calling it out. The gun dropped from Killinger. He has to pick that up. Also dropped the nade he wanted to toss up there. And a bit of a panic. He's gonna toss it up and over. Beefy uses that opportunity to peek. Grabs himself the kill. And SMC Tactical take a huge series against the #1 team worldwide. And I have been pretty accurate on my assumptions on what the maps are. Although I did say Bazaar. I thought that was going to be Bazaar, but after winning, I do understand why we're going to Suburbia for map number 3. You know, I definitely expected a really good series, and that is what we got. But I just don't know if I was anticipating SMC to look this good or to take 2 maps right away. I thought at least we were going to go to a best of 3. But I mean, I think what you saw there was a very hard battle for begin. I mean, that was 2 master tier teams duking it out, constantly pushing each other to the limit. I mean, all those Marsoc round wins were so close, except for that final round where SMC had a nice control over their defense. Every single push from beginners was very well, I mean, perfectly coordinated. The pushing timing, very well done. And I mean, to SMC, they also played incredibly well, finding those early picks, getting themselves into advantageous positions with nice flanks, patient flanks. A lot of sneaky moves coming in from SMC today. We saw some new plays as well, using the Molotov in a different and unique way for a potential defensive setup. I forgot I got sidetracked by chat. What was I talking about? The game? We got Onward? One more map? Suburbia? SMC gotta be feeling so good, though. Just a big old chunk of MMR on their hands right here. If they can grab this 3rd map, they're looking at a really nice boost in their overall rankings. Dare I say they get pushed up to 2nd worldwide. I don't know if they'll be pushed up over Globo, but they are in the lead now. Icy Woods finds Landon, as Landon did CAD 1 himself. Ponecake trying to get the refrag through the bushes. Can't quite land it. Woods is going to peek. Should have the angle onto Ponecake. Down he goes. Now Beefy realizes an enemy's behind him. Botches the nade toss. Surely he wanted that to go around over towards Icy Woods, but it doesn't indeed. And Beefy's in a position to potentially come in from the backside of beginners, holding nothing back as they charged at the offense of SMC. Soda goes down to an aggressive flank, and Killinger now able to find Trip at the bus and beginners. Oh, wow, that was reminiscent of a pub. I mean, I don't want not to say that it wasn't on skill, but it was just so aggressive. You don't really see that sort of aggression unless you're in sort of like a normal comp lobby in Onward. But wow, beginner is really pushing it to another level there. Potentially surprising SMC. I don't know, maybe both these teams are kind of overplaying this really bit of a lengthy series that we've had, although we've had longer. And you know, that first map went by quite fast. The second map really only the long one, and well, I don't know. Beginner's off to a nice start.
Yeah, I'm not trying to rush it though.
For map number 3. Smoils and Killinger sprinting forward into position, getting past those early potential nade spots. As Pwnecake catches Smoils out with a nice toss. Killinger looking for these shots onto Soda. Can't quite see him through the bush.
Shows them inside central. Yeah, but there's one of them was like the central side. Pwnecake is gone south.
Lot of fire through the shrubs coming in from the beginners squad. Nothing really landing. One did go down for SMC. They thought they also caught Pwnecake out there in the center, but he's still well and alive on that bottom floor.
Look at the top of the stairs. Yo, Alpha Central. Full ground 40.
Good pickup there from Pwnecake onto Woods as he does peek out around the corner. Pwnecake then shifts around to the window, looks for the shots onto Smoils.
Back to the turning truck.
Purple lane 3, their side of the bush.
Pwnecake getting aggressive in the center. Does catch out Icy Woods, distracted by the pre-fire. Can he catch out anymore? Killinger not ready for the flank either. Pwnecake grabs him. Now Smoils is next on the target list. Will Pwnecake be ready for Smoils through the shrubs? Can he stay quiet enough? He doesn't have to. Smoils punts out the rounds, keeps his noise volume quite high and misses footsteps. Down he goes. Now it's all up to Kev. If you are just tuning in, you've missed a heck of a series. SMC managing to take it with both Tanker and Quarantine, winning Tanker 4-2 and Quarantine 4-3. Did come down to round number 7 for that Quarantine map, so a hard-fought battle from beginners, but yeah, SMC definitely feeling good after that series win. Beginners, I think they're pretty upset. I mean, I would be obviously they're probably upset, but you can see that they're kind of taking out that aggression on this map, getting really out there on that first defensive round, taking it to SMC Tactical. SMC Tactical applying a little bit of that own medicine themselves. Pwnecake out in the open doesn't see Kev, and Kev doesn't see him. Kev's actually going to be pushing in here. Getting into some pretty decent positioning. Only 5 seconds left on the clock. We'll see what Kev can do. He's in a great spot. He should actually be able to find the backsides of a couple of SMC Tactical. Will they be ready for the flank? Pwnecake not identified. The pop-up from Trip catches Kev off guard. And SMC Tactical grab a round of their own, keep things even 1-1 in map 3. Kind of interesting. We kind of flew into those first few rounds on this map, and now both teams pumping the brakes a little bit. Maybe reassessing how hard they want to focus on this final map. It is an important one. We were talking about the MMR gains and losses here. It's also going to be a decent chunk of MMR lost for beginners. They very well could be knocked out. I think they're going to be knocked out of their first place worldwide. I think SMC are going to be third. Global will stay. Maybe Global goes to first. Danglers get bumped down to fourth. A little bit of shifting going on in the Master tier. You don't get to see very often, and it's an exciting time for the Master League as we hop into map number 3. Round 3. Threes everywhere. Oh, a nice nade comes out, lands right onto the head of Killinger. Super lucky that wasn't an insta-kill. He will be able to get that res. What a great toss there. Kev able to catch out Trip, trying to rotate around the east side. Gonna follow that up with a confirmation frag. Is 3 over here. Getting their push. And it's the only 3 remaining for SMC. Man, a lot of nades getting tossed here. Neither of them really landing on anyone. As Landon begins his push.
One dead.
Shots across the map. Pwnecake trying to get one. Can't quite secure the kill. And now SMC into a 5v2.
I think I got one down.
Trade goes out, and it all comes down to Landon. He is going to rotate around and potentially pick Pwnecake up. That is the smart choice, bringing it back into a 3v2, and maybe SMC can muster a comeback here.
That's good. You're good.
You still on the board?
Jimmy from the right side here. No, right. Alright, they're already fucking flanking us. Let's do that. Okay, do you want to just go slow on them? We still got 2 minutes. Stay stable. It might be against you, I'm not sure, depending on if I down them.
Yeah. He's just waiting on me to cross.
Landon and Woods exchanging shots. Pwnecake with a huge pick on the Smoils. A nice refrag there from Woods 43, bringing it back into the favor of beginners. If Landon can grab Wood 43, though, Killinger's in an interesting spot. He's got to charge with this flank and get to the other side before Landon can rotate around in the north. That long Frank from Killinger. Had plenty of time to do it, and it pays off. Landon not moving fast enough to avoid it. It's caught out, and beginners push the lead back 2-1 on map number 3. Back into the action for round number 4 of map number 3. Oh boy, a lot of numbers there, huh? A lot of different numbers getting thrown at me in that one. Free fire coming in here from beginners as well. He does get tossed out a bit too far. Oh, a great drop down from the slide there. Grabs one for Woods 43.
Someone watch for retard flanks is line 1 or 2. I'm rotating left.
I haven't seen this strat get broken out here on this objective in a while, but I think they're going to toss a couple of smokes on this south lane and try and cross the street. It's going to be up to Pwnecake to sort of hold this off. And it is going to be a lot of smokes. All of their utility invested in getting them across this street here, and I wonder if it's going to cover all the gaps. And it is effectively denying Pwnecake vision here. Should be able to see somewhat, though. Catches Icy Woods onto the reload. Woods 43 ready for him there on the corner. He picks up Icy Woods. Does get downed in the fire through the smoke, though. So ultimately a 1-for-1. Kev able to get across without getting tagged as well. Now it's Killinger's turn, but can he get there in time? The smokes are dissipating. No, he cannot. In a trade between Soda and Woods takes down another one of the flankers here. Now it's really all up to Kev on this north side to do some damage. Yikes. A dangerous team nade there. Almost could have caught Trip out if he was unlucky enough. If he is going to rotate around and get that res, turns it back into a 3v3. I do think Kev saw that, though. Has his eyes trained in over there.
Yeah. He's behind the fence to the west side of building 4.
Those shots out from Kev do alert Trip to the potential flanking that is going on from Kev here. 220 left. Flash comes up and over. Smoils doesn't get stunned, though, and catches out Beefy. Down he goes on the corner, puts it into a 3v2 for beginners. And they may be able to push things into a nice, stable lead if they can grab this round. A big shout out to those of you dropping bits in the channel, greatly appreciated. Obviously the support from you guys is huge, keeps us going on the caster desk as Captain Soda catches out Kev. And that's their flanker down. That's a huge asset to this push, gone for beginners. Minute 12 left now for SMC.
Dude, Alpha, yeah, Alpha's really soon.
Oh, Smoils looks for the double. Can't catch out Trip. Almost manages to tag both of them in a quick bang-bang snapshot. But not quite. SMC able to grab that final kill and keep things tied 2-2. I think you're talking about KDs.
I do appreciate the res. I was gonna call for it.
Oh. Beefy 0-4. Maybe that's what they're harping on. Up.
We lost Soda.
Oh shit, guys,
He
we have
dropped.
time. Right now.
Yikes. I'm pretty sure, unless beginners agree to it, that that round does count for beginners. Let me figure this out. But I'm not sure what the proper course of action is. I can rewatch it too. A little bit delayed. A bit. It's from my understanding that they didn't do it in time. Now, unless that's not true and there's a bug and the timer wasn't... But I'm pretty sure that, you know, we have a built-in timer into the comp lobbies. If you all DC in time, then it gives no point, resets everything. But if you don't do it within like the first 15 seconds, you will forfeit the round instead. So that is what happened. They tried to jump out because they had lost one, but they didn't do it in time. So they actually, in the books, lost that round. Now, if beginners decide that they want to reset the round, allow SMC to play the round with all 5 in the lobby instead of continuing this way, they are allowed to. They can do that. They can negotiate that. But I would think that beginners would take the round. It is an unfortunate circumstance that happens, but from what I can understand, that's the situation. So, also a big shout out the raid coming in from Onward Master League. Do appreciate that. Like we were mentioning, there has been multiple games going on. That Button Cup match just getting finished over on Master League 1, and so here we are dealing with an odd technical hiccup for our final map. We are in round number 5, technically. It hasn't started yet. They did awkwardly forfeit it. And we're now waiting for the 5th to rejoin the lobby and see what these teams agree upon. I'm not the ruler. I'm not the official. So I'm not the one making any decisions, but we will try and sort out what's going on. does look like we are going to continue with the series. A really unfortunate way to lose the round, but they did. And now Beginners in the lead, 3-2 for map number 3. Not that it matters terribly too much for SMC. But you can see they are pretty unfazed by the mishap. Yeah, like, it's hard to be upset after winning the series like they have today. A huge pickup for them. If they can grab this third map, if they can rally back after losing that round, even more MMR is to be gained, but we'll see if they're capable of doing so. They caught out one from SMC, Kev downing Pwnecake, and they're pushing in relatively quickly, already inside the playground courtyard. Lots of pre-fire coming out. No one really getting tagged, though. And if there's someone in that window, it would be a perfect camera pan. I mean, come on. 4v5, Trip trying to land some shots through the shrubs. Does grab IC Woods, fortunately enough. It is going to be a resable IC Woods, though, so I do anticipate either Kev or Killinger to rotate back around, scoop him back up. It is going to slow what could have been a little bit of Beginner's offense there. Smoyle's able to catch one out, but now he's in a world of hurt. Lots of fire coming in up over his head as he ducks in behind the sandbags and does stay alive. The res coming in over on the other side to IC Woods, and we're into a 5v3 with one resable for SMC. Smoyles almost killed Woods 43. He's super fortunate those shots didn't land through the wood. Little airburst there to try and catch out any defenders. Unsuccessful. Killinger and IC Woods almost forward facing as he catches out Trip upstairs, landing on a rotation out. Super exposing himself here. Doesn't catch anybody. Almost catches some shots from Killinger. He's going to come up. He's going to grab the res onto Soda. I thought Soda was alive there. It looked like his body was slouched upright, but it looked like he was up against the wall. Kev catching, landing on that outside rotation. Woods grabs Captain Soda, and now it's all up to Beefy. Trying to hold on to the objective. Little firefight here for Beefy. He's trying to work it out, trying to deny the cap from Beginners, but they want to lighten the load that they've faced. They want to take away the MMR beating that they're getting right now. If they can grab this cap, put things up 5-2, they'll be in a great situation. Beefy, though, as he pushes out, gets tagged. I don't know if that was the right call. I think Woods had some more time, could have gotten the cap, could have pushed things up 5-2, but doesn't, and instead takes map number 3, 4-2. Ultimately, a map too late, though. SMC Tactical still running away with the series and the overall point lead, 10-9. You know, even after that unfortunate round and that loss on map 3, I think SMC were still pretty dang happy about this series. To beat beginners, like we were talking about, a huge MMR separation there at their rank. That's really a lot. It means a lot. So it is going to be a huge round for a huge series for SMC. And beginners now are gonna face a little bit of world ranking adjustment. I think they'll probably go down to second place at the least. I think Global Chem will regain their #1 worldwide spot as the top-ranked squad, but I mean, I think there's some footage here for a lot of the EU teams to assess, see how they can beat this beginners team, and try and come at them with some different sort of tactics in order to win. Either way, SMC with a great series do take the dub, and I think that's going to be it from me here on the caster's desk. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This series was a blast to cast. I do appreciate all the bits and any follows that came through. Also, don't be afraid to drop that Twitch Prime sub if you still have it available. And in addition, if you want to get involved in the league, you want to be a player in the league, you want to be a reservist, like we saw yesterday, or if you want to just follow all the socials, follow the Twitter, the Facebook, all of the Twitch channels, head on over to vrmasterleague.com/onward. Is your one-stop shop for all of the Onward esports goodness. You will find all of your links and everything you need to stay up to date on when the VRML is going live with more Onward. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. We will see you all next week with more Onward VRML action, week 9. Until then.